Okay, so uh, picture this. A teenager back in 2015,
Yeah.
right? Got an idea, recording videos in their bedroom, maybe just using a basic smartphone.
Yeah, I remember those days. Very DIY.
Exactly. Now, fast forward just a decade to today, 2025, that same person, they're running like a six-figure media company.
Wow.
Yeah. They're speaking at conferences. They've got a team working for them. It's it's a huge transformation.
It really is. And what's, truly compelling is just the speed and the scale of that change. We're seeing a fundamental shift, really, in how people build careers, build businesses online.
Yes. And that shift, this sort of explosion of individual creativity. Well, that's exactly what we want to get into today in our deep dive. We're looking at what one source calls the creator economy boom.
A good term for it.
It is, isn't it? It's really the story of, well, ordinary people, maybe like you listening, redefining work by using online platforms, YouTube, podcasts, all kinds of digital stuff.
And technology is the big driver here, isn't it? It's really democratized things, making it possible for almost anyone to create and distribute content.
Totally. The power isn't just with the big media companies anymore.
Not at all.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to really unpack what's driving this boom. We want to look at these stories, these transformations, and really understand the role of tech, especially artificial intelligence. AI seems to be everywhere now.
It's a huge piece of the puzzle.
And for you listening, the goal is to get a really solid, kind of nuanced understanding of this whole phenomenon economically, culturally, without getting bogged down in, overly technical stuff.
So I guess the big question is, how did we get here? What were the steps from those, let's say, blurry bedroom videos
Oh, yeah.
to these really quite professional, profitable businesses we see now?
Well, yeah, let's draw that contrast. Think back to those early online videos.
Yeah.
Often, shaky camera, maybe the sound wasn't great.
Definitely hit or miss back then.
Right, but now
Yeah.
you see creators operating with, like, studio-level professionalism. That teenager we mentioned, the source we're drawing on points out they're running a six-figure company now.
It's incredible.
And their whole conferences, right, dedicated just to being a creator. Many creators are actually employers now. It's just a massive leap in professionalism, in scale.
The speed of it is just, it's really something. What felt like maybe a side hustle or a hobby for a lot of people just a few years ago has, well, it's turned into a major economic force pretty quickly with its own rules, its own standards.
Yeah, definitely. And to make it real, let's look at some examples. Take Arjun. He's based in Mumbai. So back in 2018, he dropped out of college, started a YouTube channel.
Okay. What was his focus?
Just simple videos, helping with anxiety through breathing exercises. That was it.
A very specific niche.
Super specific. And apparently his first audience was like mostly his family.
We all start somewhere, I guess. But, what's key there is sticking with it and finding that niche. Anxiety, mental wellness. These are huge concerns for people. He tapped into a real need.
He absolutely did. And now that channel has, get this, 1.2 million subscribers.
Wow. From family viewers to over 1 million.
Right. But he didn't stop there. He also developed a guided meditation app. And he uses AI voice technology.
Yeah, bringing in the tech.
Exactly. And the source quotes him and saying his first setup was just like a secondhand laptop, Canva for the graphics, and his words, a stubborn heart.
I love that stubborn heart.
It shows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You don't always need massive investment to get started.
No, that mix of, grit and just being resourceful, that's a pattern you see again and again with successful creators. They find a need and they figure out how to meet it with the tools they have using AI voice in his app. That's a smart way to use new tech to make his product better.
Okay, then there's Sophie. She's in Berlin. Former journalist, got laid off.
Yeah, okay. A familiar story for some, unfortunately.
But instead of just looking for another traditional job, she starts a podcast called Coffee Break Politics. And she recorded it in her kitchen.
Her kitchen. That's brilliant. It really shows that agility, how adaptable people can be in this creator economy when one door closes.
All right. This economy offers a real alternative. You can use your skills, your passions in a totally new way.
Exactly.
And Sophie really leaned into the tools available when things like ChatGPT became accessible.
The AI writing tools?
Yeah. She used them for scripting help, for research, speeding things up massively, even used them to help launch spin-off series for her podcast.
So she scaled up.
Totally. Now she's not just a podcast host, she's basically running a media brand. It just shows how fast things can grow when you have a good idea and, well, the right tech to help you.
And these stories, Arjun's and Sophie's, they really highlight some of the sort of key pillars of this creator economy, as our source points out. The first one being ownership.
Ownership. What does that mean exactly in this context?
Well, creators today just have much more control, over their work, how it's distributed, their business overall. They're less reliant on the old gatekeepers, the traditional companies.
Right. They own their channel, their audience list, their IP
Yeah.
in a way that just wasn't possible before.
Exactly. And that direct ownership lets them try different ways to make money, things that weren't really options before. It encourages innovation, that direct link to the people who support them.
Okay, so ownership is number one. What else?
The second big one is community building. Successful creators, they really focus on building direct, real connections with their audience.
Not just broadcasting at them.
No, exactly. It's about nurturing this loyal community that builds affinity, and it opens doors for things like memberships, exclusive content, direct support.
You definitely see that with Arjun and Sophie, right? They build audiences that really engage, feel connected. It's like building a tribe around something you all care about.
And the third pillar, which is crucial today, is trust. Building trust, specifically trust in the age of algorithms.
Wow, interesting phrase.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. There's so much stuff online. Algorithms are deciding what we see.
It can be overwhelming.
Totally. So creators who build genuine trust, who are consistent and authentic, they become these sort of reliable anchors for their audience. People value that in all the noise.
That makes a lot of sense. You gravitate towards voices you feel you trust, even if it's just online.
Precisely. Now, let's maybe dig a bit deeper into AI, because the source really stresses how much of a game changer it is.
Okay.
But importantly, it frames it not as the, scary robot taking over.
Right, which is often the narrative.
Yeah. Instead, it's more like a partner, a co-pilot for the creator. These AI tools becoming available to everyone is really leveling the playing field. Individuals can now do things that used to need a whole team, big budgets.
I like that co-pilot idea. It shifts the perspective. So what are some actual practical ways creators are using AI right now, according to the source?
Oh, all sorts of things. We're seeing it used for writing video descriptions, to help people find the content.
SEO stuff?
Right. Editing audio more efficiently. Launching and managing email newsletters to connect directly with the audience. Okay. Even generating thumbnails, those little pictures you click on to make them more eye-catching, and even using data analysis to predict what topics might be trending next.
Whoa, predicting trends. That feels like a superpower for a creator.
It kind of is. Gives you an edge. The source mentions examples like YouTubers automating video editing.
The whole process.
Well, large parts of it, yeah. And podcasters using AI to simulate interviews with historical figures.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
Isn't it? The possibilities are just exploding. Basically, these tools handle a lot of the technical, time-consuming stuff.
Freeing up the creator to actually create.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier for a lot of the production side of things.
It's like democratizing the technical bits.
That's a good way to put it. And this leads to another really key insight from the source. The rise of the micro-creator.
Micro-creator, okay.
Yeah. The idea that you don't need millions and millions of followers to be successful anymore, that old metric is kind of fading.
Okay, this feels really important and probably quite encouraging for a lot of people listening, right?
Yeah.
It takes away that pressure of needing to go viral or be massive.
Exactly right. Micro creators, people who focus on serving a very specific, often quite niche audience, they're showing you can build a really loyal, engaged community.
And make a living.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A sustainable, often pretty decent income through things like membership sites where fans pay directly.
Patreon or similar things?
Yeah. Or finding brand deals that actually fit their niche, feel authentic. Or selling their own online courses or digital products that are tailored exactly to what their specific audience needs or wants.
So the connection is deeper, even if the audience is smaller.
Often, much deeper. That quality of connection within a smaller community can be way more valuable in many ways than just having huge, broad reach with less engagement.
So the takeaway is find your thing, find your people, even if it's a small group, and really connect with them.
That's the essence of it, yeah. And the source wraps up by pointing out this really big, empowering shift in mindset. The question isn't so much the old, slightly scary one, can I actually make a living online?
Which feels like a hurdle for many.
Right. It's shifting to something much more proactive, more creative. Okay, with all these tools and opportunities, what do I want to create next?
Ah, That's a much more exciting question.
Isn't it? The source calls this the golden age of individual creativity. The focus moves from just trying to survive online to actually intentionally building your own creative path.
That feels, yeah, really empowering.
It is. The tools are there, the opportunities are there. It's about people tapping into their own skills, their knowledge, their interests.
Okay, so let's try and wrap up this deep dive. We've covered the pretty incredible growth of the creator economy, right? From those early days to today's professional landscape.
And we looked at stories like Arjun's and Sophie's people using passion and tech, especially AI, to build something for themselves.
Yeah, those individual stories really bring it to life. And we talked about those key pillars, ownership
Community building,
and trust, building that trust with your audience.
crucial elements. And of course, AI not as a replacement, but as that co-pilot helping with everything from creation to finding trends.
And maybe one of the biggest points for people listening,
Yeah.
you don't need to be huge. That micro-creator idea, focusing on a niche, building deep connections, that's a viable path to success now.
Absolutely. It really changes the game, moving from can I do this to what will I create?
Yeah, that shift feels fundamental.
And our source ends with this great line calling you, the listener, the CEO of your own dreams.
I like that.
Me too. It really sums up that feeling of empowerment, the potential to build something meaningful, something yours in this new landscape.
So maybe the final thought for you listening right now,
Yeah.
thinking about all these tools, all these opportunities we've discussed, what passion, what expertise do you have that you might want to explore, want to share?
It really does feel like now is the time to maybe start seeing yourself as a potential creator.
Definitely something to think about.